Good day, race fans, and welcome to the Intentional Wreck Podcast, the podcast made by race fans for race fans, from the casuals to the lifelong gearheads. My name is Jeff, and I'm here with my fellows Corey and Finn. We apologize. There was a little gap in between episodes very recently. Life has happened. Things are happening. Playoffs are happening. Everybody's excited. All kinds of cool things are going on right now. All of that being the case, we have missed you, and we are glad to be back with you. And excited to bring you another episode this week. How are you fellas doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm fantastic.
That 19 is sitting pretty for this one right there. I am.
He's enjoying that.
I am happy that there are interesting things to talk about after a Bristol weekend, because the spring race was not that. First thing on the menu is my hairline. Good God. That's. I need the Logano.
Is this the first time the audience has seen you without a hat, Finn?
Welcome to your 30s, bro.
Here's my. I need
This is the first time I maybe had hatless Finn, and there that is.
Jesus, I need to have.
I wear a hat all the time, but
we need to have a
30,
conversation,
brother.
I need to have one of these. Yeah, there you go. Jesus, just one of those. Just hide it. Going through Logano phase right now. Okay. No,
Corey would get mad at me if I was like, "Is this what the 30s are like?"
Nah, Jeff is famous for his hairline.
Nah.
And I'm not going to knock the whatever universal energy that there is on that one, because whatever genes are keeping that there is there, and I'm holding on to it as long as I possibly can.
I'll fly.
There you go, brother. I'll join you, dude.
Yours not bad at all. I'll fly to Turkey right now. Okay. Yeah, look at Jeff. Jeff's got something. Me and you, Kyle Schwarber lookalikes over here.
Insane.
It is so crazy to me, by the way, that people say my doppelganger is Kyle Schwarber, and you literally are Kyle Schwarber. I'm like, no, I'm not. He is. All right. So Bristol weekend, we finally have good stuff. I thought Gibbs was going to get his first win, man.
Well,
I thought so too. I really thought he should. I thought he was going to.
Oh man, he was. I mean, he's always quick here.
For better, for worse.
And it was. I mean, obviously, it was early in the race, but a huge blunder, mistake coming down pit road. The amount of fires. Josh Berry's day ends because all of the rubber buildup from the way that
Josh Berry's year ends because of all the rubber buildup.
Yep. Cindric caught on fire, and had it not been, if one more car would have passed Cindric, then Bowman would have had a chance to get in on points. So
can we be real on the Barry thing? That dude did not make it. I mean, that dude just had a terrible postseason in general for whatever reason, right? Like when we went to Darlington, that's the first week, and this man was out in a lap and a half.
Right.
Yes.
And then was out the next week, and then had it
about as bad.
On Sunday, smoke filled the car. He was cooked. I didn't have audio for that moment to find out what it was that caused the smoke to fill his car at that point. Do you guys have any kind of?
It was rubber. It was rubber in the rocker panel.
Yeah. Just a bunch of rubber buildup. So we were talking about practice. They had gone 75 laps and saw minimal tire wear. Then we start this race, and what do we get? Last year's spring race. We get chaos. We get the tires are shredding. We've got down to the fabric. We've got ourselves a tire wear race. And it made for good racing. It made for an interesting race. It made for passing. Holy shit, passes for the lead at Bristol Motor Speedway, and strategy calls as people came down to how long can you push a set of tires now? Because to make it on what you have to give yourself like 45 to 50 laps. And then, flip that around and get to the end of the race. Some guys had tires, some guys didn't, because of that saving, because of that strategy. And as a result, Seabell kind of comes out of nowhere. Zane Smith had a chance. Hocevar Bowman was sitting up there. But it ultimately came down to tires. So interesting stuff. Now, my question to you is, boys, if we could guarantee that this happened at every Bristol race, if we can guarantee it happened at every Bristol race, would you be cool with it?
Well, of course. I mean, how could you, like, the race in the spring was a snooze fest.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like,
Like what
I
I'm
would
saying
even go
is
so far as to
do we
say-
see when we say what is a Bristol race? Do we consider that ideal? Do you?
I mean, it is. I mean,
I'm
Corey's ideal.
This is a
Corey wants to
complete
put dirt back on the track. So
very true.
outside of that,
Yeah, that's another Briscoe
um,
win, by the way.
outside of putting dirt back on the track, yes, that is my ideal Bristol race.
Yeah, Corey's been advocating for dirt back on the track since before Briscoe was good. So this was gonna be that's a hill he's been ready to die on for a minute.
Give me that back now.
Yeah, the one thing it takes away from Bristol is any kind of high lane usage, right? In fact, you can kind of get a little bit on the outside and squeeze down, and you're going to use a lot of your rubber doing that, but there's so much, like once you get caught up in the junk on exit, it just seems like you're spinning out of control. And you know what? The glory years of Bristol was a single lane, bottom of the track. If you're going to move somebody, you're going to have to wrap the bottom, make a run on exit, dive bomb them, and or give them an old bump. So I'm just curious to like, because both times Goodyear has gone like, we don't really know what the happened. Like I was just curious. Hey, if we knew that was what it was going to Bristol, would you want to give them more sets of tires, or would you give them the same that they normally had, but it's the understanding, hey, you've got to make those last now.
I was honestly annoyed that they gave him an extra set.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him legit have some guys in the field not make it.
Yeah,
because they didn't have the tire strategy down. Because
with
the amount of sets they ended up with, you could basically put them on every time there was a caution, and you're going to be fine.
Right. And that went away. It gets to the point where you have to almost like not spin. I saw Noah put a fresh set on and then he spun. It's like, well, damn, that's the set. You know what I mean? Like we literally just nuked a set of tires because a week before at not Darlington. Where's my brain? Where were we last?
One moment. That'll be Worldwide Technology.
Right. People ended up. I think there were like 4 sets of tires left. It wasn't a scenario where, it wasn't a scenario where anybody really had to save or they were down at our last, and that makes for good racing.
Well, that raises that. So that's raises an interesting question for me. So, in my opinion, finishing a race and having 4 sets of stickers left is crazy. Right. Like that feels almost unacceptable to me with the way that this can and should be. Are you guys in agreement, or am I just like out of line with something like that?
I mean, I think it depends on the track, but that's just a miscalculation by Goodyear if that's the case. Like, or by someone, right? That they just gave them too many tires.
What if I had this thought in the race, and now I'm thinking about it now. What if there was a set amount of tires you were allowed to have for the season?
This would. Here's my thought on. So there's my thought on that one. Is like, okay, if we have problems with the current playoff format and we have problems with a whole lot, just imagine what typically always calm and rational response NASCAR fandom is going to have with the idea of rolling into the playoffs or whatever format exists and coming into the last, and one team's got like 20 sets of stickers sitting there that they just let sit.
You get 300.
You end up with somebody winning a race early in the season and then just purposefully wrecking to save all the tires from that.
It's like chaos.
But there will be a point that too much tires hurt you, right? There will be a point where you intentionally did not do better in other races because you were too busy trying to save tire for future races. And again, at the end of the day, on some of these tracks, you really don't need more than 6-7 sets of tires, right? But you make that strategy call. The real thing is like, hey, if you have an opportunity, because now what you do is you make it square. It's like 8 sets per race, right? Well, now we're the number that you get on the season's like 8 sets of tires per race. So now you're thinking, okay, well, if I put on a set right now to try to win this race, and I make that decision too many times in a season, going into that last race, I might, we might be a couple short. I know this is an outlandish idea, but my point is the race is better when you have to think about that. It's just better when you have to think.
It's also better because because then with the tire wear, it forces different strategies.
Yes,
you get comers and goers because there's a different tire strategy.
I mentioned that.
What if we refined the idea to instead of like, here's a set number for the season, what if you allowed some sort of a carryover? And if you didn't use as many one week, you had the ability to have 2 extra sets the next week.
I'm
now,
certainly...
the compounds are going to be a little different. Things are adjusting, as we've seen with... Yeah. I mean, tires are the talk of the week every time that we get to Bristol after the race last year. So, obviously, you're going to have some stuff that's different, but maybe that's part of it, right? What if we're going in and it's like, okay, we're going to Daytona and we got 4 sets of Bristol stickers. What happens here? Like, I at that point, I almost feel like you're like edging towards open wheel territory where you're giving each team set of hards, mediums, and softs, and you have to make a change. And
Well, I would say this more to a realistic approach to the discussion, which is if you're going to make a decision to push out sets of tires, extra sets, that decision has to be made by NASCAR by the end of stage 1. I don't want a scenario where the strategies are playing out and guys are making different calls in the dark, and the prayer is that NASCAR, once half the teams are praying they don't issue an extra set, and then half the teams are praying they do issue an extra set. And
more importantly, the prayer doesn't get answered at the middle of the third stage, and then someone it's being questioned and someone conveniently finds the wall,
Right. God forbid the 9 benefits, right, from this. We won't hear the end of it in our group chat from Corey that, of course, a Hendrick car benefited from this, but not, I mean, we all know the anti-Hendrick conspiracy theorist. But that's the way I think. I think that decision has to be made a little bit earlier in the race. And I do think if we could guarantee that that's the kind of race we got at Bristol, that it would be a good time. Because both times that it has happened, none of the teams were ready, right? So we had it happen last year. Through that first set, people were burning up tire, and then it's chaos, and we have like maybe 100 laps before people realize, oh, the track's never going to take rubber. We're done, right? Yeah. And then we have same thing this scenario. Whereas look at Bowman on the pole in the spring, they come out and they go, oh, let's be careful. And then Larson comes outside and passes. I know you're playing the violin. Larson. So my point is I just wish that we had a scenario where it was anticipated so we could see what the strategy calls from the team are from green flag drop instead of the other way. So
the tiniest violin being played for Hendrick, just
right,
trying to find that little baby Hendrick violin for poor Hendrick.
Scrappy underdog team, Hendrick Motorsports.
Poor scrappy underdog squad.
So 4 cars eliminated, and we had all that bitching, pissing, and moaning about SVG midseason just for him and Barry to go out of the playoffs in the first time. Oh, God forbid NASCAR Twitter relaxes for a second. Dillon is the other name. I think that was expected. Austin Dillon just seems to own Richmond, nothing else. It's time to talk real about my boy here. I've reached the point now where even if Bowman is not to blame for everything, it's not Bowman's fault that they had to check up. Well, it is Bowman's fault at Darlington that it's in a way that they had to check up for the Josh Berry wreck because you qualified 30th or whatever the fuck it was at Darlington in a Hendrick car, right? So that's the first step. Second step is, all right, now you're there, and it's not his fault that they had the gun issue, right? It's not. It's not his fault at Richmond that everybody blocked the shit out of him and he wasn't able to catch the 3 car despite being faster. Okay, got it. Sooner or later we have to have accountability and probably say that Alex Bowman should be in the 48. And I don't know if I'm quite at get him out ASAP, But right now, it's multi-win season or you're out.
Yeah.
Multi-win season in 2026 or you're out.
I think after the way this season has gone, the seat is very, very hot for next year. He'll be in the car next year.
Yeah.
But, like, if he doesn't really make some noise next year, yes, I agree. This is about to be the end of his time at Hendrick.
And here's what. Bowman, as much as I like him, I love his story. I think he's a very talented driver. Bowman's really good. He doesn't bring sponsorship. He's not bringing money to the ride. Okay? There is a prospect right now who cannot land a full-time ride anywhere who also does not bring sponsorship. And if you put that guy in the 48, you are going to see multi-win. Because he popped into this Bristol race in a part-time ride and finished 6th this weekend. And that's Corey Heim. And if Toyota can't figure out where to put Corey Heim, he'll sign the Hendrick deal.
Yeah, but we'll figure, like, you have to, like, I don't know. To me, there's not really a universe where Toyota is not going to figure out a way to get Corey Heim in a car.
The only thing I could think of is he's guaranteed the 11 when Denny's done.
I mean, that's certainly possible.
But Ty hates Corey Heim, apparently. Apparently they, like, absolutely hate each other.
To be honest with you, from what I'm gathering, just by what I see from a reaction basis from fans and just, you know, thoughts or discussions or just talk you hear around the track from other drivers and stuff, like, I don't think he's the most popular guy on the track in general.
Heim?
Who, Ty Gibbs?
Like, Gibbs.
No, he's Captain Nepo, baby.
Yeah, they hate him. They hate him.
Yeah.
I do see this.
That's what I'm saying is, like, I don't think he's got a ton of friends out there every week anyway.
No. He comes off as a douche. Like, as an entitled, spoiled douche.
These are the only options, I think. Either A, Riley Hurst gets the boot, and Heim comes on the 2311, which would make sense because he's their driver, right?
That's the most sensible option, in my opinion.
Heim takes the 11, and they tell them, you know, Grandpa Joe tells them to get over it. Get over your differences. You're going to race with each other. Or, and this is what I think is my likeliest solution. And the reason why is because I don't think the 35 help pay. Yes. Legacy and John Hunter.
43.
And John Hunter earns the 11. Remember, John Hunter is younger than Eric. Eric could come back. Eric is really, really good and performing well. But right now, John Hunter is on absolute fire in the 42. They're looking really, really good. Yeah. And he is a Joe Gibbs guy, right? John Hunter was driving Joe Gibbs Xfinity just a couple years ago. And that's where I think, like, hey, you bring in John Hunter. That's a name. He's got some sponsorship back into the fold, whether that's the 11, whether you bring back the 18. I don't know what you go there. I would like to see the 11 go with Denny to 23XI. You bring back your 18. You put in John Hunter there. That gives you a great team of two demons and championship contenders and Briscoe Bell. And then that gives you...
All of this is contingent on the continued existence of 23XI as well.
Well, yes.
True.
You know, that is, we don't know what's going to happen by the end of this season based on all of the legal matters that were going on between NASCAR and 2311 right now, because it is ugly.
I just want to put it out there, and I'm a hater, and I'll just own it. They could just dump Eric Jones and just put Corey Heim in the 43.
I don't
Problem
know.
solved.
Eric Jones is really good. I know you have your hate for him, but it's important to know. I think Eric Jones is like under 30 years old, man.
Yeah.
Eric Jones still has a lot of racing ahead of him.
Dude, Eric Jones is only 29 years old. He looked good in the 20. Just to be clear, I don't think he's highly replaceable at all. He's about as good as you're going to get for that tier of team. And the only reason that he even got dumped from the 20 ride is because Bell was in the 95 and was one of those, like, undeniable talents.
You couldn't take you couldn't not take the chance on Bell. I remember where I was at that point and watching them towards the end. What's that?
Heim is that too.
Yes,
Yeah,
but if you have
absolutely.
to, but Eric Jones, you're not putting Heim in a top tier ride though. Does that make sense? Like I don't see a reason. Like you have Eric who's come in, he's the veteran driver on a 2-car team. He he has wins for this team. That's another thing too. Like John Hunter has looked good, but John Hunter doesn't have wins for the 43. When was the last time that anybody won in the 43 that wasn't Eric Jones?
When was the last time Eric Jones won?
Just a couple years ago at Darlington.
When Bubba was in the 43, and this was before it was legacy.
Right.
Like you weren't seeing it at that point because there were a lot of times. Yeah, because he didn't get his Talladega. His Talladega win was in the 23 at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Bro, Eric Jones hasn't won a race since 2022.
Dude, this is a small team. Like Richard Petty, or what is it? Petty GMS is a tiny team. They were worse than Spire in terms of cars. This was an awful team. Okay, Eric Jones didn't leave the 20 and go to a B tier team. He left the 20 and went to a C tier team because he ran into the dirt that had no alliance with Chevy or had nothing. That team was god awful. The fact that Eric Jones won at a 1.5-mile track, not a plate track, and got lucky with a win, but went to Darlington that's like absurd. Absurd.
He's got 5 top 5 this year.
Yeah. He's raced extremely good. Again, I'm not ready to throw Eric Jones in the 48, but I will say this. I think Eric Jones would do better in the 48 than Alex Bowman would. Because here's my thing. Bowman doesn't have his tracks.
Yeah.
There's not, when I think Alex Bowman, where is Alex? Like when we think Eric Jones, where's Eric Jones a threat to win? Even if it's just one track. Darlington. Chase Briscoe, where's he a threat to win? Even when he was at, so somebody popped in and said Nemechek may be better in the 48 than Bowman right now. That's kind of what we were talking about. Nemechek has been racing extremely well. We're talking about Nemechek going possibly to fill in Denny's ride, finding a place for Corey Heim. I don't, that like all of these guys, you look at Bubba. Where does Bubba rate? Kansas, fantastic there. He's kind of struggled at plate racing as of late, but he kind of used to have that plate racing moniker and stuff like that. Martinsville, a track that Bubba's really good at. Like all of the guys, there's a track or at least one style of track where you go, yep, they can win. Bowman, it's like you can finish top 5 at Coda.
Right.
Congrats. I would say the same is going for Riley Herbst this year for 23XI if you're talking about the other Toyota scenario.
He's not good, but
it has not been a good year. He has been an afterthought constantly.
So again,
throughout the season.
And you guys have heard my frustrations. Like the time Bowman was running third and everybody pit and Blake Harris decided to keep him out on a strategy call to get to the front. It was like when he drove, remember it may have been, I think it was either Vegas or Kansas. He drove from the back of the field to the front. Caution came out. They decided to pit. They drove from the back of the field to the front. And it was like, Blake, you already had the track position. Like, you don't need to make track position pit calls when you're up front now and you have a rocket ship, right? Blake Harris is genuinely a terrorist in terms of like pit calls and setting up a race car. But I'm going to be honest with you, okay? You can't choke Homestead like Alex Bowman did.
No.
Okay? You can't. Right. I get it's Larson flying, whatever, but you can't put that car on the wall and ruin your spot, right? Didn't even make the 5 work for it, right? And that's where my biggest concern is when it comes to like, Bowman, because traditionally, and somebody mentioned in the comment, that 4th Hendrick car, right? But that was back in the day when the sponsor money and everything being poured in was like so important, when that Lowe's money and that DuPont money were just hitting different, and you were just like the 4th car Casey Mears or the 4th car Casey Kane. Like this is we're way closer now. That 4th car is way closer, and if you're not even, I just don't know. I mean, he is making playoffs, but like was there a race this year that he had like race winning speed throughout, and it was Homestead, and then he blew it. And that sucks. So that's why I say, hey, I'm not ready to bench him this year. But next year, Alex Bowman, I need 2 wins because we can't keep replacing crew chiefs, and we can't keep denying.
This has been the most.
Yeah.
This has been the most critical, like since, really that since we've been doing the pod, especially, but since, really like you and I have connected and realizing that we were both NASCAR fans years ago. This is the most critical I've seen you be of Bowman in this time. Not in that you never were. But this is the point where I have sensed more frustration from you this year.
Yeah.
In that performance that you feel, that feeling as though your patience has worn thin with him this year than I think I ever have.
Right.
Like you have made it abundantly clear that you're kind of getting really tired of just abundantly clear of watching him become a turnstile while he's in the top 5 at certain points when he's got a chance to get tough and race for the lead, and he doesn't. And certain situations like that, it's very obvious how frustrating that's been, and I would understand that too. And to your point about Homestead, here's the other aspect that's got to go. Teamwork is a big deal in NASCAR. The other thing is, you also, when you're in the same equipment as your teammates, especially when you're on Hendrick level, you need to race your teammates well, and you need to race your teammates hard. Don't put anybody to the wall. Don't wreck anybody, but you better be racing your teammates also. Like when it's y'all going for the win and that's it, like you better be racing each other hard. You do that because at that point, like especially when you're talking about a Hendrick ride, you are both you have very important eyeballs on the both of you at that point. And when you're the one that is constantly left back, or when you just don't go for it, like being a team player in that situation really doesn't get you very far when it's always you just letting someone vault you for a win.
Yeah, and for context for everybody that's popping in, I have been the biggest advocate of I did not believe Rajah needed to be in the 48, that we've needed to push Alex out of the 48 for the 3 years that we've done this pod. I have been an avid Alex belongs in the 48. But I look at last year's win at Chicago Street Course. He got gifted into that win. Okay, this was a scenario that worked out for him, and he fell backwards in the win. It's almost the opposite. Remember that Byron streak, not this year but last year at the start, and I kept saying, I kept excusing. I kept excusing Byron's wins by saying, hey, like he was leading, and then he would lose the lead, and he would be a ghost, and then like one late restart or one pit stop, he would get it and win, and he won like 2-3 races to start the year. And I kept saying I was like, hey, I'm excusing the win. He wasn't that good. And then it's like, hey, eventually, if you keep backing into wins, there's a skill factor involved here. And that is because when I think of what tracks do you think William Byron can realistically win at, that is half the schedule, if not more. It's half this, right? I would argue, find a racetrack that William Byron cannot win at on this series. He's won road courses. He's back-to-back Daytona 500 winner. He won Iowa. He can win at short tracks, right? So I think that's what I'm expecting a Hendrick driver. If you're a Hendrick driver, you don't have to be perfect every single week. But not even no weaknesses. When we nail a setup, you have to be good enough to win at any track that we nail it.
It's the expectation.
If you get perfect pit stops and you nail it, I need you to go do that, right? And when you say the question I just got asked in chat, find me a driver that's 3rd or 4th on a team that's guaranteed to win on a certain track. It's more so we were talking about not a guaranteed win, but you could really you're good. If everything was perfect, you could go win at that track, right? Eric Jones, Darlington was an example we threw out there, right?
Depends on if you consider SVG the 3rd car for Trackhouse or the 2nd compared to where he is with Suarez.
Right.
It also
granted, he was the 3rd one on, so there's a case for it.
Briscoe at Darlington.
Right. Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric at these flat tracks, right? When we go to the Worldwide Technologies and stuff like that, we see the 2 out there. I think of a guy like Josh Berry when I think of the short tracks, or Cindric when we even just talk about super speedway racing and things like that. There's a lot of third tracks. And I guess I don't want to cop myself on and go, he could win at Atlanta or Talladega. Yes, anybody in the field can win at that kind of track, right? That's not except Alex Bowman, because he gets bullied everywhere. You know what I mean? That's another thing. Alex Bowman has 0 wins at super speedways, dude. Now, granted, he was an early caution call from a Daytona 500, but
too nice. Is he too nice?
My point is this was a leash that I gave to Bowman that has just finally reached the end after like 3 years. That's where I'm at now. I've extended a leash and be like, you don't have to be perfect. You're the third or fourth car. Just keep making the playoffs. Just keep working on it. The back injury, I excused every injury, the concussion injury. It's cool. I love Alex Bowman. I want to continue being a 48 fan. But if I don't have a multi-win season next season, then hey, brother, it might be time to go see if you can make it in a different ride. And Hendrick's, I do think Hendrick eventually will get over it and kind of move on from it. That's just where I'm at, right? Which I think is fair. I'm not asking for his immediate release, but especially we were talking about 23XI, dude. Tyler Reddick becomes available tomorrow. So.
Oh, well, I mean, he'll get snatched up by
so this is, I cannot stress enough how much like my mind is spinning about that aspect, like especially like as a Toyota fan, I keep continuously coming back to all this stuff that's going on and just the potential shitstorm that could be happening with all of the stuff that's going on between 23XI, Front Row Racing, and Front Row Motorsports and NASCAR, and this lawsuit, and the fact that it has been made very clear that this could get even somehow even messier. Because if they push it forward even further, so many more things could get released. Like, it was already, running news when they started talking about the text messages that got released that involved Denny and some of the other Toyota drivers and stuff like that, about how much they didn't like Bill France and how other, like, just that kind of stuff. It's like I can guarantee you that is tip of the iceberg level of stuff that could potentially get just put out into the ether. And that's just petty gossip stuff. That's not talking about the fact that we're talking about charters going out to bid. That's talking about teams, cars racing open, charters going out to bid, the entire landscape potentially changing. NASCAR has already released their contingency plan should there potentially be boycotts. Yeah. I mean, like, we are staring at some crazy shit right now if this ends up happening. Yeah, yes, lawsuit has no happy ending. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, I think it's tough because we haven't seen another sport. I mean, when was the last time a sport genuinely lose, like, not just major teams, but one of the major draws of the sport? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. This idea, NASCAR should embrace these smaller teams building up and it not being a Gibbs, Penske, Hendrick war every single year. We should embrace having MJ in the sport. And the fact that NASCAR is, dude, I hate Dana White in NASCAR.
That is the one thing about all of this that is baffling to me as a person who's pretty new to NASCAR fandom. You have Michael Jordan walking in the room and you're going to give that guy a hard time, of all people, who can open up an entire other area of like sports fandom to NASCAR. And this is what you do. That's
my silly. Only question to you with that, though, because I think it's a valid. I tend to agree with you on that one. My only question with that is that Jordan has been involved with NASCAR for a few years now.
Yeah.
How much upside, how much upturn have we seen from him being there? I agree with you. The potential is there.
I mean, just
but
Jordan
at the same
brand.
time, like,
dude, we've got
like we've seen the Jordan cars, we've seen that.
Right.
Awesome.
And you could try to quantify it however you want, but here's the thing, right? The question is the answer is binary. It's, do we have him or do not? And it's better to have him than to not.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only question, right? To what degree does it help? Okay, we could argue about that all day, but like, no one's gonna say that Michael Jordan needs to be run out of NASCAR. That's crazy.
So I agree with you on that one, because here's where that's where that headline goes for non-NASCAR publications, podcasts, news stories, TV shows, all of that business. he gets run out of NASCAR, there is no happy ending there, because at that point, all of those headlines are NASCAR runs Michael Jordan out of the sport.
Yes.
Regardless of how the lawsuit goes, no matter who shines what and who looks good, bad, no matter what, the mainstream sports news publication sees that, feasts on it, and says NASCAR pushes out Michael Jordan. And that's all people are seeing. And there already are reputations and stuff that NASCAR holds from other sports fans that are only going to, spin up whatever they possibly can after that.
I mean, again, real stretching here, but a scenario where 23XI is dissolved, right? Doesn't race in the sport anymore. Those charters get sold. Let's say the new team that comes on that does that is a Dodge or a Honda, right? So now Toyota is down to the 4 Gibbs rides and the 2 Legacy rides, and they're not, as of now, they're not in any kind of agreement with each other. Maybe Legacy goes and flips as well. Does at what point does Toyota step in and TRD go, hey, we got all this talent in the pipeline, all this money in the sport. Where do we do? And maybe does this result in Toyota leaving? And it, I don't know. It just seems ridiculous that we're even here, and it sucks. Somebody mentioned Legacy going to Chevy next year. Has that been announced? I know that Jimmy doesn't really care which one as long as there's competitive. I will say this. We talk about MJ leaving the sport. Let's talk about who's going to carry the mantle of this sport into the future. Okay? Nobody's immortal, and Joe Gibbs is old. Right? We look at the future of Hendrick. I think we all know who's going to take over Hendrick. I think Jeff's got that right.
Yeah.
You got Denny in the sport. That's a young leader. You got Jimmy in the sport and caring, giving a shit. You got Justin Marks. You got this young group of owners, and I hate this idea of kind of pushing those guys out of the mix for what? To earn a point, to win a point, to bankrupt. These are 2 playoff teams. These are 2 guys competing for wins this weekend. You know what I mean? 2 guys competing for a championship. The idea of watching our game last year, Lions Commanders, and knowing that one of these teams might not even be a team anymore against their will is crazy to me.
Right.
So that's rough, and I don't know where that goes. But that all encompasses our discussion of, my frustrations with the 48 and also this ticking time bomb on Corey Heim. If Toyota can't find a spot, I got to think the only person you would want in your ride over Corey Heim in terms of a young prospect would be Hocevar.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. So I'm curious to where all those things will go. We'll see them play out. Round of 12 races, our next 3 races, New Hampshire, Kansas, Roval. Let's talk about New Hampshire because we're going to spend plenty of time over the next couple weeks talking about Kansas and Roval.
A Gibbs driver will win.
Yeah, last year, Bell. How many times has Bell not won this race? Eric Almirola, who won the Xfinity race, by the way, Bristol, passed that mantle on to Chris Bell. I will say this: we talked about the disappearance of Chris Bell. Well, Chris Bell's back on the map now after winning that one.
NASCAR has him number 1 in their power rankings.
I don't think anybody can unseat the 19 right now.
They have it Bell, Denny, Briscoe.
For what it's worth, picking any of the Gibbs drivers is unreal, right? That's easy. But right now, I just think every single week the 19 shows up with the most speed, and every time in the race the 19 is leading somewhere, right? Granted, Denny didn't
we got our new viewer in here picking Priest.
This is Joe from my from a Madden league that I joined. I saw him in there chatting up. He was like, "Oh, I've been playing iRacing," and he sent a picture of his scheme to that chat, and I was like, "You're in there?" So he's a good dude. He popped by today. I think he's friends with another podcast that's doing some big things in the NASCAR realm. So shout out to those guys. Drop the name of it if you can for anybody that's in here that doesn't follow that podcast. We'd love to support those that support us.
Absolutely.
He's a Zilich fan. Loose is Fast podcast. That's the one.
Good name.
Yep.
Good name.
He's a Zilich fan, and we haven't even talked about him coming up to Cup that much this year. It's going to be absurd. Briscoe was
He's where? Trackhouse?
Yeah, he's going up to Trackhouse. Yep, he'll be in the. They haven't announced the name, but he'll be in that 99 ride. I mean, Briscoe was P2 last year in that shitty 14 ride. I'm fully expecting him to be good. I'm expecting Wallace to be good. Again, pick a Toyota. Pretty much at this rate. This with my luck, this will be the race that Alex Bowman wins.
Yeah, one race too short, right? I mean, it would be and just a flawless race too, like not just like almost wire to wire, like can't beat him, can't get through there. Like watch him do all of the stuff that you have been frustrated all year. He doesn't give anybody an inch.
It'll
man.
make it look. It'll make Briscoe's Darlington performance look like there was a chance for other people. That's what it's gonna look like. No, I mean I can't say I'm getting out of bed for a New Hampshire race. You said you guys are forgetting who won this race last year. Was it not Bell that won this race last year?
I thought it was Bell. Yeah, Bell won this race last year.
Yeah, we mentioned Bell. We said this is Bell's house. We're good. We're good. Is he thinking Eric Almirola used to run this race? I wouldn't put out any of the Penske guys, however. This is a flatter track. Yeah. Blaney could come around here.
This used to be a Ford Haven. I mean, for a good while, it was that. But then again, I mean, this was an SHR track before it became Toyota City. So
last year was Bell, Briscoe, Barry, Larson, Busher, top 5.
Yeah,
that's right. It was all the Bs.
All the Bs.
Killer Bs.
I don't know what I want for. I mean, you remember the little rain and the rain tire fiasco, and everybody was passing, and that was the most fun that happened. Coincidentally, my other favorite moment at Loudon involved rain, in which they didn't know that it was raining, and then Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and pretty much and all of the Gibbs guys just yeeted it in the turn 1 and lost the cars and wrecked. So that's a Loudon favorite. So we'll be interested to see how that.
Well, of course, that was one of your favorite moments. Naturally, you love that moment.
You mentioned a name there that I thought of a few minutes ago. How does the 8 car fit into the whole Chevy down stacking? If Alex Bowman comes out of leaves Hendrick, right? How old is Kyle Busch? He's
I don't think Kyle goes back. I think you. I don't
Didn't
think
he just re-signed though.
I just don't think. Yeah, he signed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he re-signed a deal recently.
Yeah, I don't think you're rushing the 48 out unless a extreme prospect comes to light, right? I don't really see there being a scenario to throw an old guy in there. They've got old guys.
So Busch is in the 8, Dillon's in the 3. That's what it is. Nothing, no moving and shaking at RCR.
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody in the pipeline at JRM, like Sammy Smith's not ready to come up. The 9's not even full time. Zilich is out. The 88's probably the hottest ride. Shit. If I'm anybody, I don't even want a Cup ride right now. Go to the 88 and win like 7 races a year, and get yourself right. Riggs isn't ready to come up. Plus, he's a Ford guy. Corey Day is kind of the prospect right now for Hendrick. Now that Raj is kind of taking a step back, and he's not ready to come up. So again, I don't think there's a huge rush for Bowman out unless Hocevar or Heim become immediately available. So kind of beat that Busch a little bit, but it'll be interesting. Guys, in 2 days we get NASCAR 25 gameplay.
Sign me up.
Okay.
I have been counting the hours until we're getting that one. So I am psyched for that.
Highly disappointed.
October 14th is apparently the release dates. They've dropped their different versions and stuff like that. It is, if in case you guys don't remember, it is on different platforms, but it is not a cross-platform game. I think our game plan will be a console-based league in terms of racing and having fun, whether that's community races or an actual league. So Xbox. So if you have an Xbox,
that's my fault.
That is a way to do that. Also PC they said isn't coming out till November 11th. So does that alarm you guys immediately? That it's not coming out on PC.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Not a little bit. Well, you were going to be a controller racer regardless, right?
No, I'm on my wheel.
You're gonna race. Oh, is your wheel cross-plat?
Yeah, I got G920.
I
My wheel does Xbox and PC.
Got you. Okay. I'm getting my direct drive tomorrow. So that's coming in. So I'm gonna be excited. I get about a month of that on iRacing, and then, or when November rolls around, I'll have both. So we are gonna do that. So if you game in the Xbox realm, that's where we're gonna do it. Just because that's what all three of us are gonna have, and it's capable. If there's PC guys that get it, whether that's Dilly or other people in our community, we'll host some things there. We'll probably have some content on our YouTube regarding those races, just whether it be highlights and funny events from those things. What are you wanting to see the most on this gameplay reveal? If they had to lock it, you want career mode, you want to feel gameplay, what do you want to see, Corey?
Physics. What will make or break this game is physics. Yep. Period. All the licensing and it being NASCAR and it having sponsors and blah, 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 all that is fine. If the physics suck, the game will suck. Period.
Physics and AI interaction.
Yes. Yeah. If it's NASCAR Heat, it's going to suck. It's just what it is, because the physics won't make any sense and it will piss me off and it will be just not worth playing. All the other stuff is just lipstick on a pig if the physics suck. The physics
brought up a good point. Give me physics. I would love to see, as far as a gameplay, like, even if this is like a secondary, like spawn off, is like whatever their gameplay trailer that's going to come out is going to be. I would love to see something follow up with that with, hey, here's a couple of our team folks and I'm jumping into a race and we've got our other guy that's in our office, over on this site, and we're going to jump into an online race and we're just going to run. Prove to me that your servers are going to be quick, sturdy, and that I'm not going to be dealing with all kind of weird lag spikes as I'm trying to fly into turn 4 at Darlington. Give me,
iRacing being the backbone, that is two things that iRacing does very well.
Yeah.
Is physics and multiplayer. Like, they've got that down. They've got the track scanning, they've got the physics, and they've got the online play. That's, those tracks are going to feel legitimate, they're going to feel real.
Right. So that's what matters to me here is when we race at Charlotte, what makes iRacing so good is when you go race at Charlotte, you can pick a high lane that could be faster, but you're going to use a little bit of tire, right? Versus wrapping the bottom, good on entry, get back to the throttle, drive it all the way out to the wall. I don't feel that when I race in heat. I don't feel like I'm getting a trade-off, right? I don't feel like I got to wrap the bottom on qualifying, but when the race starts, kind of lift and coast around the outside or whatever. We talked about the AI stuff. I personally am looking forward to this game from an offline perspective, right? So I just, we don't need weird glitches and things like that. Like, make sure the game runs smooth, and that it feels competitive, right? Like, right now, and guys, we raced in heat, and again, not to, oh my God, I'm good at heat, but like, it's so boring when we were racing in Atlanta, because it's just like little off throttle, back in, and then I can coast around. And it was like, well, shit, Finn's way the fuck up there. It's like, because it's not.
Well, nothing. It was also boring because the other thing is every time that we ran these, it was like, all right, sweet, we've all zoomed past any of the rest of the field,
right?
And it's us until we've gotten around into lap traffic, to which we just navigate around, because one of the biggest faults in heat with interaction was you don't exist to the AI on the track at all. Like, you cease to not just not be like a user car, you cease to be a car that is on the track to them. Yeah, they will run you up the track and stuff as though you're not there. They will like never move from a line. They will not react to a single move that you make. You must move around them at all times.
Gotcha.
And that points to the other thing that is unique to iRacing in the world of NASCAR games, which is how does damage affect the car? Because if the three of us are in a race, and let's assume the physics are good and the AI is good and everything's good, and then you can just bash and smash and crash your way to a win and never really have to feel the damage to your car, that will piss me off too. And I don't think that will be the case, but It could be. So
yeah.
I hope not.
Username mentioned here. Yeah, username mentioned here. I would like to see a better caution detection system. With strict cautions means scrape the wall and a yellow is out. What I would like to see, now, if you're not familiar with iRacing uses this contact system of, if you hit the wall, that's a, depending on how hard, a 2x. If a car hits another car, that's a 4x for that. And what you could have is a detection of how many X's occur in a certain span, right? So like road course races, it'll do a thing like if 13 X's occur within a 2-point window, then there's a high likelihood that a bunch of cars just hit each other. So we have it throw the caution. So I hope their coding is in that realm where, hey, if one guy gets up into the wall and he gets a 2x, fine. But if he hits the wall and he's scraping it, it counts 2, 4, 6, 8. And if one car has that much X in one time, that would go, okay, logically something is happening here. He's beating and banging off a bunch of cars. Maybe he spun and hit off the shit. He's gone off the track, whatever the case is. So, that is a way that iRacing can do it, right? I've seen when you want auto cautions to be thrown within the game, that's a way that it can do it. It's not, I don't know exactly how it is by default, but that's what I've seen whenever we want road courses to stop there from being like a single car caution. So, for what it's worth, I do think iRacing they understand the gravity of what a good NASCAR game can bring to the sport. I do think they understand that this game, whether they like it or not, is going to be a reflection of how people think about the online platform, the casual fan, right? Because they can say, hey, this is a good NASCAR experience. Do you want what is the greatest experience in racing, which is iRacing, right? Do you want the greatest experience in racing? There, cool. Well, this is also our thing. If you have one that sucks, I think that hurts the trust in the other, even if they are independent dev projects. So, I'm not too worried about there not being like Mexico City. iRacing just got Mexico City, so I do expect that to be in the game. My only issue will be if they try to charge us for it. Don't charge us for a track that's on the circuit already, okay? You want to charge us for a different thing, that's cool, but don't introduce that microtransaction. So
yeah, I could understand you like charging. You're charging for you bringing back old scans of Auto Club, or something like that. Like,
or just Auto Club
you're bringing in Bowman Gray or Auto Club, or you're
Bristol Dirt,
digging up.
Hey, I'll pay you
Bristol Dirt, Kentucky. Like, yeah, you're throwing some stuff. Fine, I can see that. Okay,
boys,
like
the amount of money that I've spent on iRacing, I'll pay the $4 for a track in this freaking game.
Right, but Finn's point is, don't give me something that's part of the season. Don't stick a bill on me when I'm running career mode because you can't complete your career because this track doesn't, this track isn't there. But so I am fully excited for the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what it shows us. This is, you guys know, for me, like I lost my mind a couple of weeks ago when it was fully 100% confirmed that we were going to get that this is spawning an IndyCar release. So I'm looking at this for like, what hope do I have for when that finally happens? Because that's going to absorb so much of my time when it happens. But to your other point about like the online play and where this goes, one of the ways that this is such a mutually beneficial situation regarding NASCAR, video gaming, and everything else, when that game drops, that online play is smooth and the gameplay is decent. What ends up happening, it's a way that we literally have never actually had the opportunity to truly see because of how long it's been since we've had a really actual good NASCAR game. Like we're going to see more streamers coming out and playing this game that were never really NASCAR fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see more people that are into maybe sport streaming and other like esports and stuff like that are going to get thrust forward. And it's going to put eyes and ears on NASCAR in general in a way that we haven't had that opportunity. How many people do you guys talk to? Because I know I've heard this from numerous people that, they were like, oh, I watched a little bit, but I definitely watched more when I used to be able to play the video games, right? Like I used to play Thunder, and I loved playing that. And then I was into that for a while, and then I found myself tuning into the race the next week and stuff like that. Like that built a lot of NASCAR fans in the early 2000s and stuff.
Yeah.
This has the opportunity to do that.
Dude, I can't believe they've been struggling to get sponsor buy-in for things like the silly season and the career mode, so where you can go drive another car. Like, I mean, imagine how many guys playing that game get to be the 11 FedEx car, so now they feel this. I mean, I guess FedEx is out of the sport now, right? But like that brand sponsor, like it's a video game, but people give a shit. I watch Utah Utes football because I'm them in my college football league, right?
Yeah.
Something as simple as that, dude. If I had an opportunity to put Home Depot or Lowe's on the car, like I know that seems silly, but that shit does exist, right? And you would feel a bit more connected.
It's not silly, Finn.
Right.
It's not silly because the other thing that I'm wondering, like, because they have to loosen something like that up at some point, because like how big is the diecast market? How big is the collectible market within NASCAR?
Right.
People are going to want to run vintage schemes. They're going to want to run vintage cars. That has to be part of the game. You have to be able, I understand off the break, maybe you're not venturing quite into that, but you got to let somebody have the opportunity you got to give me this opportunity to go run the old FedEx ground car.
Right.
You got to give somebody the opportunity to go run some of the Class 18 Interstate Batteries car. You got to give people the opportunity to run the Lowe's 48 or the DuPont 24.
Right. And also, does the licensing even extend to the old versions of that, right? Because we're talking about schemes on cars that didn't drive those schemes, so you're going to have to reimagine those schemes on the next-gen car. Do we have a future? And again, I'm not expecting at this title, but a future of like if they put you in a flashback, oh shit, I'm in a Gen 4 car, and what does that look like? Again, that's a lot because it's a lot of coding for like small things, but I'm curious to where that road leads. So, but cool things, and I'm sure next week we're gonna have plenty to talk about once we see a gameplay reveal.
Yeah. Well, one thing. So you just brought up another point. Another thing that I would love to see that could be a temporary or small deal. Like, there's going to be events, right? Like, there's going to be like, they're going to be running different events and different stuff like that. How cool would it be if like it's the online community is like, all right, we're running Gen 4 weekend and you're going to get an opportunity to run the Gen 4 engine, the Gen 4 car, for this weekend only or something like that. And then it's out of there, or you're going to run like the classic, like 70s big wingtip cars and you're going to get opportunities to run those. Like, the possibilities are endless.
Even if it's just a skin, right? Even if physics-wise it still drives like the Cup cars, I really like that would be fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Corey, you've been leaning on something.
Realistic.
Oh, I just can't wait to drive ARCA cars, dude.
Oh yeah, good old fun ARCA cars. So, all right, well, I think it's about that time we drop some picks for our New Hampshire. We got a lot of new folks that popped by today, so if you guys don't know what we do, we didn't do it last week because we didn't do a pod due to real life stuff, but we all pick a driver to win each week. It'd be
weirder if we did do picks and we didn't do an episode.
And so we do picks, and then whoever's pick finished the highest next week, you get a 1-minute victory lane. You get to talk about whatever you want to talk about with no interruption. So,
I've talked about so many things this year.
Yeah,
like I've run the gamut on all the different.
Jeff is the Alex Palou of this. Many wins.
Yes. So far this season, this has been mine. I don't know how.
We saw a pick earlier that Priest was going to win from our new follower, the Average Joe, and I appreciate everybody that popped by today. Numbers are higher than normal, and we appreciate that, and everybody followed and is going to come back. I'm going to make a Discord this week for us so that we can get all the people that play that game and watch our sport to pop in and interact and talk with us. I feel like we're getting to that point here, so that will be available starting next week. So if you appreciated the pod today, please
to love NASCAR.
Yeah, please come back and engage with us, even if it's just from the game perspective, not NASCAR perspective.
And so and that's the other thing. We will be caught up with making sure that all of our video on demands are up and all of our audio platforms are going to be updated with our episodes. So anybody wants to go and roll back, they can take care of that. We slipped on that a little bit, and we'll make sure that it gets nice and caught up. So we have some big things coming up here on the horizon, and we're excited. We have some other big things potentially to do once the season wraps as well. We got some surprises that we're hoping to be able to unveil as things start to wrap. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. But
picks.
On to picks for New Hampshire. Who wants to go first?
Ryan Blaney.
Finn goes first with Ryan Blaney.
My nemesis, but
his favorite driver.
My nemesis, but I need a minute to talk. Okay, I'm either gonna spend my minute next week ranting about NASCAR 25 or praising their gameplay, but it's gonna be about that.
So, if you bringing up Blaney, like I said this in our text chat a while back, he was on another podcast I really like recently, and the dude was just exceptionally likable.
No, just to be clear, I have no issues.
I walked away from that and I'm like, man,
I have no issues.
I was like, I really like Blaney. After walking past from that, I'm like, just a genuinely fun dude.
Dude, he's a metalhead. He's a Jimmy Johnson fan. I should be a Ryan Blaney fan, but I refuse. Unless he goes to the 48. Ryan Blaney goes to the 48 would be all right. No real issues with Ryan Blaney. It's a bit at this rate. All right.
Corey, who are you taking for New Hampshire?
Chase Briscoe.
There you go. That's an easy one.
He's back on the train.
Championship favorite right there.
He's back to it.
I couldn't take him.
If I'm going to get a chance at him, I'm taking him.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a bad pick at all. So I'm genuinely like, my heart obviously wants to say Denny because I would love to see him go and get back to it because it's been a few years and it'd be nice to see him get scared of that lobster again, and I'm sure he would love that opportunity to tuck one away. So to me, like, I'm going to go a little further out on the limb. I am going to take Joey Logano in this race.
Ooh.
I know it's probably coming out of left field for me.
No way.
It's a crazy, wild thing. It's just he's been quieter throughout the playoff season.
This is around that
hasn't
time.
quite been one of those where we are due for one of these
dipshit Logano
like
wins.
Late race restart, just takes off and nobody gets them type of scenarios. New Hampshire is the prime track for that to happen. So my pick is the 22.
If Logano wins, Bubba's in trouble.
Yep.
I know, and I don't like that at all.
Well, either Bubba's not in trouble and he's happy, or Logano wins and he gets to talk. So there's that.
Well, hey, I mean, it could be Logano 1, Bubba 2. I mean, we could see its own shakeup with that. Yeah, exactly. So, but all of that being the case, I think that's going to wrap things up for us this week. Please make sure that you check us out on Twitch, which you probably already are right now, at IntWreckPod. You can find us under the same name on YouTube. As Finn said, soon we will have a Discord so we can go over racing and we can chat with everybody and then set races up once the game releases. Check us out on the socials at IntWreckPod. That's at IntWreckPod. I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend, and we will catch you all next week.
See ya.
Peace.